Yes. Dr. Prabhakar earned his doctorate degree from Pondicherry University, and it is on behalf of the Vimla fraternity, I would like to welcome Dr. Prabhakar for this webinar. I would also like to welcome Dr. Sabu Thomas, President of our, the newly formed Initiative Political Science Collective, and all other members of the Political Science Collective, the faculty members and students this webinar. So without further delay, I really shortened it. Over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you so much, and it is a
Yeah.
great privilege for me to be associated with your institution, and I am also thankful to Dr. Thomas for giving me this opportunity. Uh, Let me come to the topic. Okay, as you said, Parliament. We are in a parliamentary system, and under the Constitution, Parliament plays a very important role. And as the students are aware, as many are from political science department, Parliament is the apex legislative body of the country, and it has for making it more clear, Parliament has three major institutions. One is the President, of course, he is the head of the state, and other two institutions are Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And everyone has a place in the running of the country. As there are four pillars of democracy, one is the legislature, under which we have parliament, state legislature, panchayat, and then the executive at the central government, and in the state governments, and judiciary, high court, Supreme Court, and then high court, district court. And we have the fourth pillar, which is considered as the very important weapon in any democracy. And since I work in Parliament, I would like to bring a sequence of events so that one can understand exactly how Parliament functions. There are three sessions, as some of you may be aware, in every year. First is the budget session, because budget plays a very important role in the running of the country, rather any country. And second is the monsoon session, and third is the winter session. And budget session starts with the address of the president to both houses of parliament. Same is the case in the state, wherever councils are there. And once the what is contained in the president's address, it may be some people, students may not be aware what is there in the president's address. It is prepared by the government itself, and it contains the programs and policies it has executed last year, or what it proposes to do in the current year and ensuing years. This is what is contained in the President's address. Once it is delivered in the Central Hall of Parliament, which is located in the Parliament House, both the members of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha are seated there. And once that is over, it is placed on both the houses of Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and on that day, the business is over. And the first business of the Parliament, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, has always been to discuss the President's address. And it gives the opportunity not only for the government to defend what is stated there, what it proposes to do, but also the opposition parties to raise issues of concern, of public interest, of national interest. And it goes on for long. Earlier, it used to be 4 or 5 or 6 days. Now it has come down to 1 or 2 days because of paucity of time. As the Madam has mentioned in the beginning, the quality and standard of debate has come down. But while we consider the other aspects, particularly the committee system has been playing a very important role, about which I would come to the committee system little later. But before that, I would like to touch upon the uh, devices available to the members of parliament in raising the issues of public interest. First is the question hour. Question hour is considered a very important uh, hour, which helps the members to raise on any subject. As the students are aware, there are around 55 ministries and departments in Government of India. The budget of the country is around 30 lakh crores, and everything is discussed during the budget session. And during the question hour, there are two types of questions majorly. One is the start question, which is for which answers are given by the government in return. Orally, it is in the question hour, ministers will stand up and respond to the questions of the members. And orally, it will be, that is considered as very important, as people who are following what has happened in the COVID monsoon session of 2020 in Lok Sabha. Question hour has been dispensed with because of a short period of meeting of monsoon session, and out of 18 days which was planned, and it has been curtailed to 10 days, and it has the same has been adjourned because of rising cases of COVID, not only among the ministers and members, but across the country and particularly in Delhi. So the monsoon session or winter session or budget session, irrespective of the session, question hour plays a very important role, and the number of questions during the question hour taken up for discussion is 20, and unstarred question is called questions where answers are given in written. So there are almost 250 questions every day, and it's spread into 55 ministries and departments. Once the question hour is over, the ministers get prepared, and there is a very big process. Because of shortage of time, I am skipping. I would touch important devices and initiatives available to the members of parliament. First is the question hour, and it is an opportunity for the members to grill the government and to get the information which is considered as very authentic, because everything provided in the house, on the floor of the house, is a very authentic information which can be used by anyone. Once it is over, it becomes the property of the public, and it is available in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha site, and it is in the public domain. Once question hour is over, we have the zero hour, which is considered very important, because on a given day, members get an opportunity. There is a procedure for everything. I am skipping that by merely saying that for raising any issue by any member, he has to give a notice. There are different types of notices. I would plainly say that for everything they have to give notices. For example, in the zero hour, you have to give notice, and there are 543 members, and from Lok Sabha you presume that there are 43 MPs who have become ministers. So out of 500 MPs, naturally it is 1 hour from 12 to 1. So everyone, if everyone is giving notice, naturally it will become 500, or even if 200 are giving notices, so you can't accommodate everyone. So there is a lottery system. So based on that, only 20 or 30 will be selected, and only those zero hour matters will be taken up during the zero hour. And there are other devices available. For example, budget. Budget is presented on the 1st of February. Earlier, it used to be the last day of February. Now it is presented on 1st of February, and you will be seeing on next year, 1st February, budget will be presented. So, what is contained in the budget? When the process of budget starts, and how long it will be taken in Lok Sabha to pass the budget. So this I would like to touch little bit. The process starts in September middle, and the process will continue, and the Ministry of Finance, the officials will discuss with the stakeholders from different sectors like industry, agriculture, farmers, trade union leaders, and they collate the information, and considering those details from the representation, budget is presented. Of course, taking into account the finances available will be available in the next year, and what is still pending, unspent with the government. So it is a process, it's a long process, and finally it is placed before the cabinet, and then it comes to the parliament. And it is presented only in Lok Sabha, not in Rajya Sabha, because Lok Sabha is the house of the people, and Rajya Sabha is Council of States. MPs from Lok Sabha are elected directly by the people. So the tradition has been budget is presented only in Lok Sabha. So as I told you, there are so many 55 departments and ministries. So how can you pass the budget? So every year the procedure has been, they will choose some 4 or 5 or 6 ministries which is of importance or relevance. For example, this year COVID has affected the country. So next year you can take it for granted that Health Ministry budget will be discussed in detail. Likewise, rise in prices. So that Consumer Affairs Ministry, Public Distribution Ministry will be taken up. If prices of petroleum is going up, then Petroleum Ministry budget will be taken up for discussion. There is a border issue with China in Ladakh. So naturally, Defense Ministry or Home Ministry will be taken up for discussion on the floor of the House. Okay, so some 5-6 ministries are taken up for discussion in detail on the floor of the House. So for every ministry, 1 or 2 days are given, and on that discussion take place, and finally the minister will respond to the debate, and finally that is passed. And generally, as I have seen in my experience, budget is passed without any hurdle. Even the opposition, when they have any issue, they will not put hurdles in the passage of the budget. And now I have told that there are 55 ministries and departments, but I have told that on the floor of the House, only 5 or 6 ministries are taken up for discussion. So what will happen to the other balance in the ministries? So there is a procedure called guillotine. It is passed without all the ministries are clubbed together, and they are passed at a stage. There is no discussion on other ministries' demands for grants. So once this process is over, then we turn to in the budget session, it is called earlier 100-day session. It is a very long session. It starts in February beginning and it ends in May. So now that number of days has come down. Earlier, in the first Lok Sabha, second Lok Sabha, and Rajya Sabha, we used to have 150 days per year session. Now it has come down to 70, 80. So considering the number of sessions, number of days of session has come down, in there is a gap, there is an interval in between the budget session. Once the first phase of budget session is over, there is a gap of 3 weeks or 4 weeks, during which this period there will be no session and all the members will attend the meeting specifically meant for passage of the demands for grants of all the ministries, all the 55 ministries and departments. It will be a very tight schedule and too many agenda items will be there, and top officials from all the departments you can find coming to the Parliament and Parliament House, Annexi and Library building. There are some 20 committee rooms where these debates take place for 2 or 3 or 4 days, and then it is over. And then after that 3 weeks, 4 weeks of discussion in between the session, then in the second phase we will come back to the Lok Sabha, and then the session will continue. And what is taken up in the discussion, now I will touch the bill aspect. Bills are very important because what is a bill? A bill is a piece of legislation which is brought before the Parliament to bring about changes in the existing act. This is a layman's definition of a bill. If you have vividly following the newspapers during the session days, you can find number of bills taken up for discussion on every day. On every day, and bills will originate from that particular ministry. For example, GST bill was passed in 2017. So bill originated in Finance Ministry. So every bill originates from one of the 55 ministries or departments, and it goes through a very big process. For example, it is sent to other ministries to see whether there is any clash of interest, and then it is sent to the law ministry where they will vet the bill that everything is in place, and then it comes to the cabinet, and then once it is cleared, it goes to the Parliamentary Affairs Ministry, and then it is placed before Parliament. Well, before Parliament, there is another procedure called leaders meeting. Whenever session is there, or whenever before the start of the session, you must have seen speaker meets all the leaders of the party. There are around 36 political parties in Lok Sabha, which includes parties from Kerala, parties from Tamil Nadu, every state, regional parties, every party has their member in Parliament. And all these political parties meet the speaker and they put forth their issues, and then you can find the Prime Minister also attending the meeting of the speaker, and the Parliamentary Affairs Minister will also be there. All the top leaders are members of the Business Advisory Committee. It is a very important, powerful committee in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and there they will arrive at a consensus which bills have to be taken up and how much bill should be given, how many hours, and whether we have to take up adjournment motion or not. whether we should take up short duration question, whether we should approve calling attention on important public matter. Everything is discussed there. If you want to bring about any change in the rules of running the Lok Sabha, then again you have a rules committee. In all, there are 55 committees in Lok Sabha. All these committees play a role assigned to it. For example, there is a committee for privileges committee. There is a committee for rules. There is a committee for library. There is a committee for food management. For every matter, you have a committee. And I am talking about the committees which are not part of the parliamentary standing committee, about which I would come to in a short time. So bills are of different types. You also have money bills, and you also have financial bills. And there is another weapon available is matters under Rule 377, under which members of parliament can raise the issue of their state or of their constituency, and it is sent to the government for redressal. Now I come to the committee system. Committee system has come into being because in a period of 100 days or 120 days or 80 days, you are not getting enough time to discuss anything in detail. For example, as I told you, the budget of the country last year was around 30 lakh crores, which is split into all the 55 ministries. So you are not getting enough time in a short period of 60 to 70 days. You are not able to discuss in detail. So this committee system has evolved over a period of time. Before arriving at setting up of committee system, number of members have traveled across the globe and they studied the committee system in UK, USA and other countries. And in 1989, it has been decided to set up the committee system. Initially, it was only few committees like agriculture, science and technology, and environment. Later on, in 1993, full-fledged committee system was inaugurated. At present, we have some 24 parliamentary standing committees. And out of that, 16 are serviced by Lok Sabha. For example, you have External Affairs Committee, you have Agriculture Committee, you have Defense Committee, you have Petroleum Committee. All these important committees are serviced by Lok Sabha. What are the committees that are serviced by Rajya Sabha? They are Commerce, Home Affairs, HRD. HRD as Human Resource Development Committee name has been changed to Education by the current government. Industry, Science and Technology, Environment and Forest, Transport, Tourism, Culture, Health, Personal, Public Grievances, Law and Justice. These are all serviced by Rajya Sabha. So as I told, 16 committees. I would like to read Agriculture, INB, Information and Broadcasting, Defense, Energy, External Affairs, Finance, Labor, Petroleum, Railways, Urban Development, Water Resources, Chemical and Fertilizers, Rural Development, Coal and Steel, Social Justice and Empowerment. These are all serviced by Lok Sabha. There are so many other committees. I told you, I have read only few. And I would like to say that General Purposes Committee is also there. Committee on Petitions. Committee on Petition is considered a very powerful committee because anyone in the country can petition the committee. So once the petition reaches the committee, considering the merit of the petition, it is placed before the committee. Once the committee approves, then it is sent to the concerned ministry or the person concerned, and they will appear before the committee, and the grievances are redressed. Like that, you have a committee on government assurances, papers laid on the table, and house committee. All these committees have a particular duty, and there are other committees. Financial committees are also there, which are very powerful. One is Public Accounts Committee, which is always headed by the opposition party. At present, Public Accounts Committee is headed by Adil Ranjan Chaudhary. He is from Congress. Every time you can find a top opposition leader heading this Public Accounts Committee. Likewise, you have Estimates Committee. Then you have Public Undertakings Committee. All the Public Undertakings Committees are placed under Public Accounts Committee, Public Undertakings Committee. So apart from the, then I would like to throw some light on what is the role of the committee? Who are the members? How many members of a particular party find a place in a particular committee? Everything is dependent on the strength of the particular party. For example, every departmental standing committee consists of 31 members. Out of that, 21 are from Lok Sabha, 10 are from Rajya Sabha. Okay, and one is all the Lok Sabha committees will be headed by Lok Sabha members. Likewise, all the Rajya Sabha committee members are headed by Rajya Sabha. But both the committees will have members from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And depending upon the strength of the party, that many number of MPs will be given a position in the committee. So this is how the membership is decided. What is the major role of the committee? First important duty of a committee is, whenever a bill is sent to the committee, so the bill is discussed in detail, and later a report is prepared, and then it is placed before the parliament, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The other thing is, as I told you, during the break in budget session, demands for grants of ministry is taken up for discussion. First is the bill, second is the demands for grants of the ministry, third is any matter of concern can be raised before the committee. So the committee will be meeting all through the year, even during the session, even during the COVID. So meetings will take place continuously. There is no gap. So while introducing the topic, Madam was telling that it is the situation is not as per the expectation, and there are a lot of disturbances. The standard has come down, but if you take into consideration the deliberations in the committee, you will not say so, because the committee system has been successful, and you can find very serious discussion taking place, and reports are produced which contains latest details of the ministry and the details of the grants provided to them, how they have executed, how they have implemented. So we can say that with authority, by way of providing proof, that committee system has been very successful. Apart from the committees, the financial committee and the departmental committee, you have ad hoc committees also, and there are select committees also. And you must have heard about joint parliamentary committees. In 1987, you may remember, joint committee to inquire into Bofors contract was set up. In 1992, irregularities in securities and banking transactions was set up. Recently, in 2011, 2G Spectrum Joint Parliamentary Committee was set up. Earlier, there was a committee on pesticides, residues, and safety standards for soft drinks, fruit juices was also set up. There was a joint committee on stock market scam also, Harshad Mehta. So there are committees galore, and you have almost 55 committees. Every committee is headed by a chairman. Depending upon the strength of the party, the chairmanship is given. And as per the latest 17th Lok Sabha, if you can see the strength of parties in Lok Sabha, BJP has more than 300 members. Naturally, almost 50% of the chairman position will go to BJP. Then comes the Congress. It will take away some 5% or 6%. Then again Trinamool Congress. Like that, the chairmanship is split. One of the important committees which is to be known by the students is MP-led committee, Local Area Development Scheme. This is a very important committee because 5 crore is provided to each member of parliament, both of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and he can spend this in the constituency. If it is of Rajya Sabha, we can spend it in his state. And if it is nominated MP of Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, he can send it across the India. So this is a fund which has been used very successfully by many MPs, because of which they have gained popularity in their constituencies. And apart from the various schemes, both of the central and state government, this is an additional fund made available during the Narasimha Rao period. It started with 1 crore per year per MP, and it has increased to 2, and then it has become 5. And there has been a demand for 10 crores. But in the case of states like Tamil Nadu, yes, MLA gets 5 crore per year, whereas MP, which consists of 5 or 6 MLA constituencies, get the same amount, whereas in Tamil Nadu, 1 MLA, which is a very small area, gets the same amount of 5 crore. There has been a demand, because of which they wanted more money. And committee system plays a very vital role in furthering the parliamentary democracy. Why? Because the official head of a ministry is secretary. Secretary deposes before the committee. and all the top officials, RBI governor, public sector undertakings chairman, all deposed before the committee. And this committee system has evolved over the years and it has been very successfully running without any break. Even yesterday, you must have read the Twitter issue has been taken up by Information and IT, Information Technology Committee, headed by Shashi Tharoor. And he has been calling the WhatsApp, Twitter, India officials to discuss the matter. So by this way, you can find the committee system playing a very major role. Apart from the bill and the demands for grants, annual reports of the concerned ministries is also discussed. Annual report contains every minutest detail of the ministry. Each penny given to the ministry is accounted for in the annual reports, and that report is prepared by the ministry, but it is scrutinized and discussed and debated by the committee, and based on that report is presented. You may ask, what is there in the report? What is contained in the report? Report contains all the details based on the debate and the deliberations by the committee with the officials. And it also contains the recommendations of the committee. Though the recommendations are not obligatory on the part of the government to accept and implement, over the years you can find the ministry, the government implementing most of the recommendations of the committee reports. So now it is very important to also know a little bit about Rajya Sabha. What is the role of Rajya Sabha? Rajya Sabha, many a time there has been a discussion whether we should have a council at the state level or whether we should have Rajya Sabha at all, or whether we should have governor post at all in the state. Every issue has to be discussed in detail, but here I would like to say that Rajya Sabha has a role because in the passage of a bill, it is not enough if a bill is passed in Lok Sabha. It has to be passed also in Rajya Sabha. There is no difference between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha except when it comes to the money or financial matters of the bill or the piece of legislation. So Rajya Sabha has a role and it plays its part. Rajya Sabha is headed by the Vice President, who is called inside Rajya Sabha Chairman. He is the authority and who will decide what is to be, how the business is to be conducted. 1/3 of the parliaments of the world today have the second chamber. One third. That means there is a necessity for the second chamber to have a support for Lok Sabha. There is no fixed term for Business Advisory Committee. Rajya Sabha is a chamber of continuity. It is a federal chamber. In Lok Sabha, members are elected directly by the people, whereas in the Rajya Sabha, members are elected by the MLAs of the state, depending upon the strength of a particular party, like for example, Communist Party in Kerala. Depending upon the strength, they can send a particular person as MP in Rajya Sabha. It is a deliberative chamber. In the earlier days of our independence, even now, to a great extent, you find the debates in Rajya Sabha of a very high standard. When it comes to financial matters, as I told you, it has a very limited role. Money bill cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha. because as per the Article 368, that power has been given to Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha possesses equal authority and power with regard to the amendment, but not with the introduction of the bill. And there has been instances of Aadhaar bill going to on Aadhaar bill, Jairam Ramesh, Congress member, has gone to Supreme Court also because it has been treated as money bill. If you have any questions, you may ask.
Sir, there are certain questions posted in the chat box. May I ask, sir?
Yeah.
So there is a question posted by Mary Philip. What are the problems faced regarding the smooth conduct of the proceedings in the light of heated discussions, especially on sensitive issues, between the MPs of the ruling and opposition parties, and how is it handled?
As I told you, a member is allowed to raise an issue only when his party has the time. For example, I will give, for example, in the case of COVID, there was a discussion. Naturally, a party, Congress party or Trinamool Congress, which has considerable members, will get more time. And during that period, the member can raise the issue on he can raise on any matter irrespective of the issue, and he will get the response from the minister.
So may I go on to the next question?
Yeah.
There is a question asked by Namira. Why did Parliament pass a law such as the Citizenship Amendment Act, which led to separation between Indian brothers and sisters?
It's a very simple. As I told you, BJP has the majority, more than 300 seats in Lok Sabha. Okay, so the party having majority, it is nothing but a democracy is nothing but a matter of numbers. Since they have the numbers and they have the support both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they have passed this bill. Earlier, in the first dispensation, they could not do it because they were not having the numbers and there were misunderstanding between their own political alliance partners. Yes, any other questions? Do you have any other questions?
So at present, no one has posted any questions in the chat box.
Anubhama, there's another question from Anubhama.
Okay.
There's a question from Anubhama.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There is always issues regarding the attendance of MPs in the Parliament. Isn't this a major problem faced, sir?
So actually, to tell you very frankly, each party has a whip, and a particular member acting as a whip keeps on making efforts to ensure attendance of his party MPs during the debate. But in spite of the best efforts, you find there is shortage of attendance of members during debates, particularly important debates. But when there is a passage of an important bill, like CAA, you can find full attendance. So it all depends upon the party and the members. And in the party meetings also, in BJP party meeting also, even Prime Minister has asked the members to be present. But in spite of that, we find thin attendance, because the reason given by the MPs is they have other important duties, like going to a ministry to follow up a particular project, or to meet the secretary and to attend to the committee meetings. So people who are coming from the constituency to Delhi, and they have to extend hospitality and listen to them. These are the other reasons I think the attendance is thin during the debate. But that cannot be an excuse, because the parliament meets only for 60 or 70 days in a year. Uh, Being present is of utmost importance. But sometimes during there will be session going on without any break. So then you can find some low attendance, that we can understand, but not otherwise.
Madam, I think that our meeting is scheduled up to 12 o'clock. We have only 5 minutes more. I think that there are some one or two questions. I think that
No,
we
you
can
can,
actually.
no, you can extend. You can have another 15-20 minutes. I have no problem. I have left out. I have left out
No
certain
problem
important
from my
points.
side,
I
sir.
will add
No
also.
problem from my side, yeah.
You can have as many questions, very pointed questions as you want.
Yes, sir. So there's a question from Mary Phillip. Do you face any practical difficulties in any area when MPs with linguistic, cultural, and religious diversity
Come to.
come together?
Oh, there is no issue at all, because all these MPs are elected by the people from a particular state, and once they are in parliament, they speak for the people. So there is no issue at all on this count. And I would like to add that any member can speak in any language. There are interpretation services also, and there is no difference or any misunderstanding between different uh, religion MPs or different party MPs or different state MPs.
Madam, I feel that this meeting will automatically wind up at 12 o'clock. I think it's scheduled like
It's
that.
not, sir. No, it will not be like that, sir. I think
Okay.
it can,
Okay.
yeah, we can try
Okay.
it. Yeah. The
Okay,
questions
sir.
are coming. Yes, another question is also coming, yeah. Please, Ashwin, yeah. Is the budget equally?
So the next question is from Leena Rice. Is the budget equally distributed between the ministries? If not, how is the percentage division decided?
Oh, it's very natural. You can even think how can you distribute equally to all the 55 ministries. Say, for example, Ministry of Home Affairs has so many important responsibilities. Defense is protecting the country in our borders. External Affairs is taking care of our interests across the globe. So, depending upon the need of the particular ministry, budget is allocated. You can find always defense takes the maximum from our 30 lakh crore budget. Likewise, education department takes a big chunk. Likewise, home affairs. Likewise, rural development. Depending upon the requirement of the ministry, budget is allocated. Before I take the question, I would like to ask how many members are there in the cabinet as of now? Can anyone respond to it? Hello? Ah,
I think that all are confused. I think everyone is confused.
no, I will tell you. I will give the answer. Actually, as per the rule, you should 81, 81 ministers can be in the cabinet. That is 15% of the total members of Lok Sabha. As of
Oh,
now, we have only 54. One is the Prime Minister, 21 is the Cabinet Minister, 23 is Minister of State, and 9 independents. You have 27 vacancies in the cabinet, and you can have 27 more ministers in the cabinet. Reshuffle is expected before the budget session.
Madam, I think questions are over.
So you would like to add, sir, Sabu sir, as a
Yeah,
president of the Medical Science Act, those two or three as president of our organization, I would like you to just add in some comments, sir, and then we can go for the vote. Thank you, Sabu, sir.
before moving to my comments, I think I have a question, a small question. So, sir, you told that not every estimates are not being discussed in the parliament, in the committees. So, how it will be decided? Which department budget will be discussed?
Where? The committee.
Yeah, committee.
No, actually, I told you very clearly that all the 55 ministries and departments are allocated to the committees. So nothing is outside the domain of the committee. So everything is discussed in the committee, but not in detail. Even in the committee, you can't expect everything in depth. But it is far better than prior to the committee system in place, no discussion was taking place. Only in the session, they discuss and pass. Now, at least we have the committee where discussion is in detail, but not so much in detail. So you can be rest assured that everything is taken up in the committee. Every aspect of the budget of a particular ministry is discussed in the committee. Because all the 24 committees which I told will have 55 ministries inside 24 committees. And all the 24 committees consist of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So there is a complete accountability of the executive before the parliament. There is nothing is excluded from the clutches of the parliament.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So I think that I can make some short remarks. So thank
Mr. Thomas, this is the first online effort from my side.
Oh, you have. That's great.
When I visit your college or Kerala, then we will have a lively discussion.
Yeah, you're most welcome. We are waiting for that opportunity.
I could not do full justice because so much to tell, and I could not see anyone except a few faces, and I could touch the major important points because this will at least convey something to know what Parliament is doing.
Okay, sir. So it's a golden opportunity for all of us because we are meeting a person, a man who spent most of his career inside the parliament, inside the temple of democracy. And we are outsiders. Our ideas, our views are just maybe we are taking it as maybe a layman's view. We are taking a layman's view, and we are meeting a real professional from the parliament itself. So I think that's. He's not only a professional, he's also active in academic. He's writing in journals, he's attending webinars, and just now he wrote in political science recent articles just to come. it's in the press. Is writing on the Parliament and American foreign policy. So it's a I just read that article. I had a chance to preview that thing. So it's a matter of great happiness for us to be in the company of a professional and again together with the company of an academic. And again, as you know, even though there are limitations in this web platform, now we are meeting students not only from Kerala. We are having students from Hyderabad. We have faculty members from Delhi, and then again Mizoram, Maharashtra, Orissa. So different parts of the country, they are meeting in a platform. So it's actually a golden opportunity for us both to being in the platform and also to meet you. So that's actually that's a very short. We have met you in a very short notice. I know that the difficulty. Also, you are going to deliver a lecture in Madras Human Resource Development Center, Madras. So thank you very much for being with us, and I feel that we will meet in more platforms, in online platforms together.
Okay.
So I'll be cutting down. Madam, over to you, madam.
Yeah, from my side also, thank you so much, for, I mean, these webinars have in one sense become as students are being exposed to a lot of people from outside Kerala also. I think that is one positive thing which has happened. So from my side also, thank you.
Before I want to place it on record that left party members, I tell in many lectures, left party members, particularly from Kerala, N.K. Premachandran, P. Rajiv, Karuna Karan, so many stalwarts are all have contributed immensely in the debates of parliament and committees. And I quote this everywhere. They are very simple, very down to earth, very accessible, very well prepared, very knowledgeable. This I want to tell.
That's nice to hear, sir. So thank you, sir. Just a formal vote of thanks by Ashwina, because things should have a structure. Very quickly, Ashwina, please make an yeah.
First, I would like to thank our principal, Dr. Sister Mabel, for providing us the opportunity to organize such informative webinars for the benefit of students. Also, I would like to thank our vice principals, Dr. Sister Namita and Dr. Minimol, for their constant support and guidance. I would also like to heartily thank the support of the members of the Political Science Collective, without which this webinar today would not have been possible. Also, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Anuja ma'am for organizing such an informative and engaging webinar for us. Last but not the least, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to faculty members from other colleges and students for ensuring your presence and making today's program a grand success.
I would like to thank the first person and Sabu Thomas for organizing this. I think the student, she's the 5th semester literature student, Ashwina. So I would like to thank, and Political Science Collective. I think it's a new initiative started by Sabu sir for all political science faculty members from Calicut and Kannur region. He's the brain behind it. So I would like to thank him and all other members also. So thank you once again. So it was an extremely informative session. And I know a lot of my first year students had joined in, so I'm sure it would be very beneficial for them.
Yeah, we'll have. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.